Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of BOOKWARD BOUND, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And it all started on Friday, March 6th. Now, I've been saying Friday, March 5th forever, but I actually looked it up, and it's Friday, March 6th is the day that I went live for the first time to work on a brand new book that is called NONFICTION Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And I did that because I was at Social Media Marketing World and got inspired by a couple of incidents that are actually described in the book that I just am writing right now. And what the upshot is that on January 1st of 2021, I'm going to be uploading press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform, where I will be self-producing and self-publishing a brand new book, Nonfiction Brand, right there. That's the cover art. That's, this is a working concept right now, but yep, that's what it's going to look like. And I've been coming down here to work on it every single night since then. In fact, tonight is day 274. Yeah, crazy, but totally worth it, because by announcing that big, audacious goal to people like you, you become part of my peer pressure posse that keeps me coming down here and working on the book. So thank you for that. That said, I do need to make hay while the sun's shining, because I've only got 27 days left. Yeah, that's a little scary. Yeah, well, maybe even 20. Is it 27 or 26? Either way, it's coming up. So I got to get working on this. And so what am I going to do tonight? I'm going to take you on over to Scrivener, the application I'm using to actually write the book. And you can see it right here. Scrivener has a big window for the actual writing, and then a smaller navigation pane or chapter formatting page, or whatever you want to think of it as, chapters, sections, etc. You can see I color-coded stuff, so if it's green, green means it's good to go, and blue means it needs a little bit of proofing before I can make it 100%, before it deserves a green flag, put it that way. So what am I working on? I'm working on going through these things, one blue section at a time, and I'm actually going to read them aloud, because that's what helps me discover the parts that are not as smooth, maybe some wording that's a little too long, maybe I run out of breath before the end of a sentence. I love my sentences to be an average of 15 words long. I don't like Faulknerian run-on sentences that turn into paragraphs. So the best way to make sure I'm not doing that is to read it aloud. So let's get started. This new section I'm looking at is called The Real Benefit of Social Media. It's you multiplied. I have never served in the military, but am a military history buff. As such, I've absorbed more than my share of military jargon and the concepts they described. One of my favorites is the phrase force multiplication. As a word nerd, I can still remember exactly what I was reading when I was first exposed to the concept. It was in a Wired magazine article in the early 2000s, and I instantly understood both what it meant and its value, not only on the battlefield, but in real life. The Defense Department, I can make this all part of the same paragraph. The U.S. Defense Department defines the concept as a capability that, when added to and employed by a combat force, significantly increases the combat potential of that force and thus enhances the probability of successful mission accomplishment. For the sake of this book, I'd like to modify that definition just a tad to something like this. In the context of personal branding, force multiplication is the addition of a series of capabilities that significantly increases the communication potential of that personal brand's force and thus enhances the probability of successful goal accomplishment. In the Wired article, the article gave the example of weather as a significant force multiplier. I had never thought of such a thing, but it makes perfect sense. For a defending army, weather can eliminate the enemy's offensive air operations, bog down land forces, and create serious resupply issues. So what, in a personal branding context, is the single greatest force multiplier in the history of humankind? Social media. Yeah. You can access the entire worldwide online audience 24/7, 365 for free. Yeah, that's true. Anyone who's ever seen me present or has listened to an episode of the NONFICTION BRAND podcast, gotta italicize that, or listened to it on a NONFICTION BRAND podcast has undoubtedly heard me freak out over this fact more than once. The reason why is that I'm still continually amazed that the various channels of social media can do all that for very little and oftentimes no money at all. Used to be, there were gatekeepers all over the place keeping people out. But now the gates are gone, and if you have a computer or even just a smartphone, you can create your very own your own media empire via the free force multipliers of social media. I'm not going to love social media. Every single musical group on the face of the planet has been well aware of this phenomenon for quite some time. Back in the day, if you were a band and wanted to build an audience, you'd have to load up a van and travel thousands of miles, gaining fans by performing live concerts wherever and whenever the venue would have you. A good gig might garner a handful of new fans. A bad one might not have an audience at all. And you could go years before attracting any kind of attention from the anointed musical gatekeepers in the form of the elite few A&R gods at the major labels. And then it all changed. Whatever you think about Justin Bieber, you have to admit the dude multiplied his force considerably when, on January 19th, 2007, he posted an absolutely terrible video of a 12-year-old singing Neyo's hit So Sick. When I say the video was bad, I mean it. No lighting, shaky cam, an unlit Justin in silhouette against a back wall of what appears to be a church basement. Absolute garbage production that launched a career now in 2020 conservatively valued at $285 million US. Is that kind of return on investment, ROI, the kind you can expect from your social media activity? Not likely, but is that the kind of ROI you could possibly see for your completely free social activity? Is that the kind of ROI you could possibly see for your completely free social activity? It's a long shot, but let's put it this way. It's a guaranteed no shot if you don't even try. For the Biebs in 2007, YouTube was a force multiplier like no other. He's gone on to leverage that social media like a pro, like the pro he is ever since. And he's by no means the only musician that's found social media to be tremendously helpful in getting and he is by getting their music to the masses. Is by no means the only musician that's found social media to be tremendously helpful in getting their music to the masses. In fact, hugely popular artists are completely bypassing the traditional get signed to a label career path in favor of one that they own completely. Why? Because now, let's hit that with some they can. Rhett rocking his COVID-19 bandana right after a scorching rendition of Whipping Post featuring Noah Guthrie on vocals. Smoking hot. Your next gig could air live to up to 7.8 billion people for free. Social media allows any band to play for the entire online population of the globe whenever and wherever they want. A favorite, never would have even heard of him before YouTube musician of mine is a hard-working Atlanta-based guitarist named Rhett Shull. As far as I can tell, in 2017 he started uploading random videos revolving around his love for music in general, but the electric guitar and all its accoutrements in particular. His first video, as far as I can tell, is him showing off his brand new Novo guitar, Cirrus J electric guitar. Rhett lets his guitar do the talking for the first 4 minutes and 54 seconds of this 5-minute, 13-second video. And that's exactly as it should be. He effectively demonstrated who he is, what he does, and how he does it without uttering a word. And that's pretty much perfect for his select audience of guitar aficionados, tone fiends, and gear geeks. Since then, he's created an entire YouTube television network for himself with a variety of shows, all of which he hosts and stars in. I still remember the first one I saw, served up in my Watch Next feed. Thanks, YouTube algorithm. It was one of his backstage journal videos, which was just the documentation on video of a road trip he took with one of the several bands he plays with. He took with one of the... with one of the several bands he plays electric and guitar. Having never toured myself, I was totally sucked into the true story, authenticity of this itinerant musician and what it takes to actually make a living, what it takes to actually make a living making music. Glamorous, not so much, but what I'd give to be able to live that lifestyle for a while. With his completely true Rhett videos, I can. Through his completely true, completely Rhett videos, I can. I'm guessing I'm not alone in my vicarious road warrior wishes. Rhett has, as of this writing, over 250,000 subscribers on YouTube and around 38,000 more on Instagram. Not bad for a guitar sideman with no top 10 hits. But the sheer force multiplication of his personal brand power via video has made him a sought-after reviewer and endorser of guitar equipment by manufacturers from around the world. And as any guitarist can tell you, there's a lot of such equipment out there, and an endless audience of Guitar Hero wannabes just dying to buy it. Is Rhett a valuable endorser, demonstrator, reviewer, trusted recommender to those guys? Damn right he is. All because his one-man force was exponentially multiplied by the power of online video. What social multipliers can add force to your personal brand? That's the question you should ask and answer for yourself way before you commit to any social media platform. And the most important thing after that is consistency. The perfect platform is a waste of time if you don't show up on a very regular basis. I'm going to hit that with bold. That's one of the reasons you have to be so strategic in selecting the style stage. That best suits your voice's style. You have to really enjoy it, show up like clockwork, and engage with your audience no matter how big or small. When you do, that's when the multiplication happens. Some people are good at math. For others, it requires real work. If you truly want to receive the many benefits of social's innate force multiplying power, be prepared to work. And if you ever need an entertaining example of someone doing exactly that, just search Rhett Shull on YouTube. The dude's rocking it. All right, so the nonfiction brand moral of Rhett's story: every working individual has a choice to make. Be a silent sideman or the star of their respective place in the band. Rhett's clearly made his choice, deciding to step into his own personal brand spotlight, creating opportunities not only for himself, but his entire crew. Who wins the most? His audience. Yeah. I didn't talk about... And Pandemic. What? Pandemic. Let's say that. I can add this whole thing in here. When the COVID-19 hit, few were affected more than performing musicians. All of their regular performance venues closed down night. Long planned tours disappeared just as quickly, period, comma, and even the prosaic but paying gig of teaching students in person. The prosaic but paying gig of teaching students in person locked down for foreseeable future, for this foresee, with no relief in sight. So what's a guy gun guitarist like Rhett supposed to do to keep some at least little money coming in? Double down what he's already doing in the form of a new live music show called Backstage. If you want to see someone making lemonade out of lemons, you should really check out this super fun micro gig with starring Rhett and his new band, which is at the with his new band. It's fascinating. Just picture this, and his crew took over a basement, rigged it with all the lights, mics, and camera gear he could fit. Go. Then he invited and over to create to form concert that is as intimate as you can get, while maintaining effective social distancing. With skeleton production crew, a bunch of GoPros and roving cameras, and the power of you to backstage live delivers live stream, live music, even during darkest days pandemic. Seriously. Check one out and you'll see just how multiplicative, just how powerful let's see just how fun and raw this music, fun, raw and immediate music can be. All for free over over YouTube. Watch the live comments roll in real time, comma, and you'll see an entire United Nations worth of music lovers chiming in from all around the world. And here's the canny music. Here's the best part. Many of the viewers are kicking in a few dollars just to say thanks to the band for making such sweet music. Rhett took all the effort he put in on YouTube over several years and used it to turn what could be an what could be a musician's existential nightmare into a community building event that not only helped support his immediate family, his band, and their family, but will undoubtedly boost his personal brand profile even higher. Rhett found his best fitting style stage, put in the hours to master it, and then when he needed it the most, he turned his efforts up to 11. he could do this now because of all the work he put in back then. Yeah. All right, so I got to look up Lombardi. So right now I'm on the real benefits of. I got to look up Lombardi. CPM EIEIO is where I tell that story. Oh, okay, good. One of my favorite quotes is from the late, great Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect. Practice makes perfect. That's what the band. That's what Rhett did. And him to achieve. I don't know if I like that. That's what. Back then. Which enables him to achieve now. Lombardi. Practice does not make perfect. Does not make perfect. That's what Rhett did back then. now. To achieve now. Really needs it. Up to 11. One of my favorite quotes is from the late great Green Bay Packers coach, Vince Lombardi. Coach. I think we call him Coach Vince Lombardi. No. Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. That's what Rhett did back then, which enables him to achieve now. So much now when he really needs it. Rather than let music business man him where and when control him. He's mastering another together a business of being right. One of my favorite quotes is from the late great Green Bay Packers Vince Lombardi. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. That's what Rhett did back then, which enables him to achieve so much now when he really needs it. And rather than let the music business control him, he's mastering another sector altogether. The business of being Rhett Shull. Need a great example. Personal brand with a band. There's none better than Rhett. There's none better than Rhett. What social multipliers can add force to your personal brand? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. And so I added this whole section. How many words is that? 431 words. Yeah, that's cool. But I should really read through it. Pandemic? What pandemic? When COVID-19 hit, few were more affected than performing musicians. Performing musicians were among the hardest hit. All of their regular performance venues closed down overnight. Long planned tours disappeared just as quickly, and even the prosaic but paying gig of teaching students in person was locked down for the foreseeable future with no relief in sight. So what's a hired gun guitarist like Rhett supposed to do to keep at least a little money coming in? Double down on what he's already doing in the form of a new live music show called Backstage Live. If you want to see someone making lemonade out of lemons, you should really check out this super fun micro gig. micro gig starring Rhett and his new band. Just picture this. Rhett and his crew took over a basement. And rigged it with all the lights, amps, mics, and camera gear they could fit. Then he invited his bandmates over to perform a concert that is as intimate as you can get while maintaining effective social distancing. With a skeleton production crew, a bunch of GoPros and roving cameras, and the power of YouTube, bunch of Backstage Live delivers live stream live music. Delivers a live stream of rockin' of live music, even during the live music, even during the darkest days of the pandemic. Seriously, check one out, and you'll see just how fun, raw, and immediate these concerts can be, all for free over YouTube. Watch the live comments roll in real time, and you'll see an entire United Nations worth of music lovers chiming in from around the world. I don't need to say all, from around the world. And here's the best part: many of the viewers are kicking in a few dollars just to say thanks to the band for making such sweet music. Rhett took all the effort he put in on YouTube over several years and used it to turn what could be a musician's existential nightmare into a community-building event that not only helps support his band and their families, but will undoubtedly boost his personal brand profile even higher. Rhett found his best-fitting style stage in YouTube. I got to put in YouTube. Put in the hours to master it. And then, when he needed it the most, he turned his efforts up to 11. One of my favorite quotes is from the late, great Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. That's what Rhett did back then, which enables, back then in 20, back then, which enables him to achieve so much now when he really needs it. And rather than let the music business control him, he's mastering another sector. He's mastering another industry sector altogether. The business of being Rhett Shull. Needed a great example of a personal brand with a band? There's none better than Rhett. What social multipliers can add force to your personal brand? Okay, I read through that stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this with green. Change the icon over to the green flag of completeness. And I've been on for 45 minutes about. LinkedIn Launchpad. 1,200 words. I think I'm going to kill it for tonight. Yeah. Because I normally would have sought to get through a couple of sections tonight, but because I spent so much time writing, a new 450-word section, I'm considering that the equivalent of at least doing another section. So I'm going to let this go because I got to come back here tomorrow night. And one of the things I learned a long time ago is if you want to make sure that you can do something every single day, don't burn yourself out on any given day. So I'm not going to. I'm not going to burn myself out. Instead, I'm going to come back tomorrow, same general time, to work on the book again. And tomorrow it will be day 275. Holy crap, I cannot believe it, but it's actually happening. And a lot of that's due to you. Because if you weren't part of my peer pressure posse, I may not be getting this done. But I actually am, because if I don't, I'll look really stupid in front of you. And I don't want that. So anyway, that's it for me tonight. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast. I just edited a brand new episode of the Nonfiction Brand podcast today that will air on Monday, and it features Kate Toon from Sydney, Australia. And we have a great conversation. We have great rapport, I think, and it comes out really well during the podcast. So definitely check it out. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for this image, my picture in black and white, and the words Nonfiction Brand. And if you find those, you will have found the exact right place and the right podcast, because that is the cover art or the album art for the podcast. You can get it wherever fine podcasts are free. Just search Nonfiction Brand. Well, that's it for me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, theme music, play us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.